5 bad reviews about the same thing happening, then maybe you need to change something. Maybe your service is bad. Maybe it's not just these millennials that come in and don't know what they're talking about, okay? All right, welcome back to the newsroom. Neil Wintereg with Matterhorn Business Development here. Today, we are now talking about part 2 of our Yelp, The Real Mafia. So in part 1, if you didn't watch that, definitely click on the link up here and go ahead and watch that. You definitely want to see some of the real things that go on with Yelp. Now, what I'm going to talk about is for the business owners that are out there who feel like Yelp is basically destroying your life and what you can do about it. So in doing my research, I watched a lot of YouTube videos and read a lot of articles, and there's a number of businesses and business owners who come out and say that they got a bad review. Yelp started to hound them. They did not pay for advertising, and then therefore Yelp unleashed full fury on them and, made up all sorts of false claims and basically got their business down to a 1-star rating, all because Yelp did it. Now, here's what I want to say to those people. That is not true. All right. If your business has a 1-star rating in any platform, it's your own damn fault. So you have to be willing to look at what it is that you're actually doing and what it is that's actually going on in your business. Just because you have some bad reviews on Yelp doesn't mean that the world has turned against you. And it doesn't mean that just because you didn't pay Yelp for advertising, they're now giving you all these 1-star reviews. If you have 1-star reviews, it's going to happen. Okay. And yeah, you're going to get somebody who comes in and is a jerk and is rude and goes and lies on Yelp. Okay. There's nothing that you can do to stop or prevent that. So when that does happen, that doesn't mean that the world is fighting against you, okay? If you've got 1-star reviews on Yelp, and a lot of them, then you're doing something wrong. You can't just sit there and say that Yelp is screwing you. You're screwing yourself somehow, okay? So that's like my first disclaimer before we start talking about actually how to sort of improve your Yelp status or what to do better, is that it's not always them. You have to look at what's going on inside your office as well. Okay. This is what a lot of people don't understand. If you open it up and you have a restaurant and you have all these bad reviews about how terrible the food is, then maybe your food is bad. I don't know what to say. Like, you can't just sit there and say, well, I like it, so therefore it must be good. And if other people don't like it, that's their fault. They don't know food. Okay, your food might suck. Okay, so you have to look at internal things as well. Now, if you get one review that's bad for every, let's say, 10 good reviews, that's probably normal, okay? 20% of the population is trouble, and they just want to create trouble everywhere they go. Those are the people who only give out 1-star reviews on Yelp. Like, you can go and look at their profiles and they only give out 1-star reviews, okay? So don't worry about that person, okay? You want to focus on good customers, good people that want to use your services or eat your food or whatever it might be. Those are the people you want to focus on. For every time you get a bad review and you look at it and you find out what happened, you might need to go and talk to one of your staff and say, hey, what happened with this person? And you might find out that your staff member did do something wrong. Okay, fix that so that it doesn't happen again. Now, if the staff member's like, listen, I did X, I did Y, I did Z, I did everything we're supposed to do. This person called and they yelled at me. Fine. You know what? Forget about it. Let that person go on down the road and do business somewhere else. Who cares what your Yelp review looks like, okay? If you're at 4.6 stars now because of that one review, then you got to get some more positive reviews to fill it in. So don't ever feel like Yelp is the reason that your business is doing bad, okay? If you have a lot of bad reviews, it's not Yelp's fault, it's your fault. Now, if you have a lot of good reviews that are being taken down and filtered and hidden, like we talked about in video 1, that's another story, okay? If you have a 4.0 rating and 5 reviews, but you've got 25-star reviews that are quote-unquote filtered or not recommended, okay, that's a problem. But don't sit there and think that every bad review that comes in is somebody lying or somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. As a business owner, if you've got a lot of staff, you have to actually talk to your staff and find out what happened with these people. So if your product is bad, you're going to get bad reviews. That's sort of how life works. Now, if you've got 5 stars on Google and 3 stars on Yelp, and you've got a lot of views being hidden, then fine, I understand where you're coming from. Okay. But I am doing research for this and watching videos. I found way too many business owners who were just convinced that the CEO of Yelp woke up that day and decided to crush them. And that is the only reason that their business failed. That is not why your business failed. Okay. Businesses come and go all the time, before Yelp, after Yelp, whatever. And it's not because Yelp decided to destroy you. So I want to give you some tips and advice that may or may not help you with doing better. First off, if you have a business, claim it on Yelp so that you can actually say, hey, this is my business. That way you can actually be a little bit more in control over the photos that you post, and that way you can start interacting with people. So step number 1, claim your business. Okay. Step number 2, add some decent looking photos. Sometimes I go to Google, I go to Yelp, and the photos that are posted are so bad, like so bad. So if you have photos of your products or of your business or of your staff or whatever, make sure that they're good photos. Make sure that they're real photos that show the real vibe, and show, if it's food, have it be a real plate of food that is, not looking like it was taken with a 1998 flip phone. Okay. Have real photos of your products. Have good photos of your staff. Sometimes I see especially like medical offices, dental offices, it's like, look at our staff, and there's like a staff member like staring at the ceiling while they're on the phone. Like, why would you put that on? Okay. Let's have some smiles. Let's let everybody know it's picture day. And when they come in, we take some photos. So 1, claim your page. 2, put up really good photos. Number 3, here's something else that's very important to do. I want you to interact with everybody who leaves a review, good or bad, on your page. Now, where people go wrong is that they ignore the good stuff, they ignore the good posts, and they only focus on the 1-star reviews. And then you end up looking like a fool when you start yelling at the person and accusing them of lying and all sorts of things. Now, I do a lot of work with like medical offices, and you would not believe the amount of HIPAA violations that end up in Yelp reviews. Somebody goes on, leaves a 1-star review, and then you're like, well, we don't know who you are and you've never been a patient here, or, well, we actually diagnosed this and you wanted to do that. That is all no bueno. You cannot do any of that. Okay. So if you have a regulated industry like medicine or something like that, do not ever talk about patients. Do not ever put medical information out there. That's not good. Okay. Now, what do you do if you do get a bad review? Okay, I want you to answer it, and I want you to be logical, and I want you to be nice, and I want you to just say, hey, listen, you know what? We're really sorry that you had that experience. If there's any way that we can make it up for you, please let us know, and we'll take care of it for you. And you move on, okay? If you get some ranters and ravers in there, and they're saying bad things, and you leave a nice review like that, I, as a consumer who am smart, will probably go, man, that ranter and raver was probably just a ranter and raver. But when you start arguing back with the ranter and raver, I'm like, I'm not doing business here. I don't want to do business there, because that's not cool at all, right? So if you get good reviews, I want you to write back to people and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We loved having your family. We loved accommodating you. Tell your friends. If there's anything that we can do to help you in the future, let us know. In fact, here's a coupon for a free appetizer your next time you come in. Hey man, that'd be really cool. If you can do any sort of interaction and thank people for leaving positive reviews, that's really good. If you get a bad review, don't rant and rave. Just tell the person, listen, we're really sorry that it didn't meet your standards. If there's anything we can do in the future to make it better, let us know, and you move on, okay? Do not get into a contest with this person to prove them wrong. It's always going to end badly. As much as you want to really say what's on your mind, it just does not end well for you, because then me, as a rational person, comes in and I see you arguing with some idiot on Yelp. You look really bad when you do that, so do not do that, all right? Now, another good thing that you can do when it comes to your Yelp reviews and things like that is actually ask for reviews. Okay. Now, a lot of times people, when I tell them that they actually have to ask good customers to leave reviews, this whole idea that like asking or advertising or asking people to send you their friends and family is like makes you look desperate. That's not true. Okay. It's okay to ask people that you know, or customers that you know who are coming in and they're regulars and they like your food, and would say, hey, listen, you know what? Would you mind going on Yelp and leaving us a review? Okay. You don't have to say, leave us a 5-star review, but say, would you give us an honest review on our Yelp page? Now, this is going to try and get more 5-star reviews. Now, not all of them are going to show up on your Yelp page. As we know, there are non-recommended reviews or grayed out reviews, as I say, at the bottom of your page, and you don't know which reviews are going to be grayed out and which reviews aren't going to be grayed out. So you don't have that much control when it comes to that. Like, you just have to ask people to leave a review and hope that ends up on your page. And that just is the way that Yelp is going to do things. So if you feel like you are kind of unjustifiably low in your score and you want to get it up, you can ask for reviews for people to come in and give you some reviews to help boost your score. We just don't know which reviews are going to stick and which ones aren't. So it really is just a matter of diluting the bad reviews. Okay. You just have to keep adding to it. Just keep adding to it. Now, I personally think you might even just want to ignore the Yelp altogether and stick with something that you can control. And what you can control, depending on what type of industry you're in. TripAdvisor is good for restaurants, okay? But I like Google Maps, Google Reviews, because a lot of times people are gonna Google it to look for it, find it, map it, whatever. And Google is really good about putting all the reviews up. And I've actually heard that if there is like a pretty bad review or people are yelling or swearing at you in your review, Google will take it down a lot quicker and easier than Yelp will. Yelp will take down reviews that violate their terms of service. So if you do get a review that's really bad, you can ask them to take it down because it violates the terms of service. Whether or not they actually do it or not, I don't know. I know Google is a little bit easier to work with in that regard. But the great thing about Google is that if you get one bad review, you can drown it out with 10 good reviews. So you can control that because they put all of the reviews up. And if you do get one bad review, who cares? Okay. I have met people who practically felt like they were failures in business because they got one bad review. Listen, if you don't have any bad reviews, you haven't tried to help enough people. Just walk outside and try and help somebody and you're going to get a bad review. Okay. So no matter what in your business, if you have some bad reviews, who cares? Don't worry about it. Just get some good ones. I'm not saying create fake reviews. I'm not saying ask your grandma to leave you a review. I'm just saying take regulars, take customers, people that you work with regularly, have them leave you a good review, an honest review. I don't even care if it's somebody that you know really well. If you said, hey man, Yelp's really screwing me here on these reviews. Would you mind giving me some good reviews? And have somebody give you a review that is a customer of yours. It's okay to tell them that like you're getting screwed. They understand. They're probably a business owner too. Or you say, hey, listen, man, I had some weirdo give me a bad review on Google. Could you give me a 5-star review? People who like you and people who know you that use your service, they're not going to care, okay? If somebody has a problem with it, then you ask the wrong person, all right? Now, an interesting point about that is with Yelp, when you're trying to get a lot of extra reviews, if you do ask somebody to give a review who isn't normally reviewing people on Yelp, like I have a good customer and I say, leave me a review on Yelp, and so they make an account right there and they make a review on Yelp, those seem to definitely be some that get screened pretty heavily. It's not all of them. So again, it's just a numbers game. You have to just try and get more and more people to leave a review. You're just not in control of it with Yelp. It just is what it is. But the only way that you can do it is just trying to get extra people to do it. Now, one last thing about leaving reviews and stuff. For a lot of places, we offer free Wi-Fi. And so we have people who come in and they're eating at our restaurant. They're waiting in our waiting room. We ask them to leave a review. They're on our Wi-Fi. Those reviews will not get posted by either Google or Yelp if they see that it's coming from your IP address. So if you have people that are going to leave reviews, sometimes it's even good from like, I don't know if Google does this. I've heard that like, you know, people who have their GPS on, they see that they're in your front waiting room and they're leaving you a review on your Wi-Fi and in your waiting room. Wait till they go home and they're off your Wi-Fi network or something like that. It's just something that does come up. It does create an issue. I don't know how Yelp feels about it. I know Google, if they get a lot of reviews and it's from people coming from your IP address, like in your waiting room, they don't get posted. So, sometimes I've even had people print out like a list of instructions that's like, hey, here's how you can leave a review for us. There's also a lot of companies that are out there that will actually send your repeat customers email reminders that say, hey, leave us a review on Google. So you can sign up for services like that will help. There's some really good companies out there that do that, and it might be right for you to be able to do that as well. So I hope this helps. I know that in the end, there's really not much that you can do to be in control of your Yelp reviews. You're going to get reviews that don't make it up. Just live with it. I'm sorry. That's really the only thing that you can do. That's why I like Google. That's why I like being able to be in control over it in terms of like seeing all of your reviews. But also remember that if you're getting bad reviews, it is not the Yelp universe creating these bad reviews. You've done something in your own office with your customers that has created that effect. And if you get a number of reviews that say the same thing, you have to look into it, okay? If you've got 5 bad reviews about the same thing happening, then maybe you need to change something. Maybe your service is bad. Maybe it's not just these millennials that come in and don't know what they're talking about, okay? So look at those things and make sure that you can actually be more in control of it. So I hope this was helpful. Again, my name is Neil Winteregg. If you have any problems with your product or your company, or you want to know how you can improve your business, go ahead, get in touch with us at Matterhorn Business Development, and we'll help you out.